Alright, so the real me is finally done being both sick and mopey, which means my vacation's over, and I get to make another video for you guys, which is fine actually, considering that I have a video idea that I've been sitting on for a while that I need to get out before this next run of episodes starts. This is one that I've seen questions from you guys about a lot. The question of whether or not Pink Diamond could have possibly shattered herself, or was in some way involved in her shattering. This is going to be a quicker video than some of my other ones lately, just probably a few minutes long, but I still feel like this concept deserves its own video. From what I can tell, there are 4 basic scenarios that people propose when suggesting that this might be the case. Each of those scenarios is based on one of 2 basic setups. We know now that Pink Diamond's shattering took place during a battle between her gems and Rose's gems. So people will suggest that either the battle itself still wasn't enough to distract away Pink Diamond's entire entourage, so she was in fact the diamond who sent them away and cleared a path for Rose to reach her. Or the battle was enough to distract them. Rose was able to approach unimpeded and attack Pink Diamond, and Pink Diamond's part in her own shattering took place after that happened. The first of the 4 theories, and I think by far the silliest, is one that I've only seen a couple of times. That during her battle with Rose, Pink Diamond somehow accidentally shattered herself. That what Bismuth said about Rose's sword is not figurative, but is in fact literal. But it's only literal when Rose is wielding it. And so when Pink Diamond made a misstep and accidentally impaled herself on Rose's sword, she damaged her gem, breaking it and then shattering it, killing herself. And while I won't say that this one is entirely impossible, that's only because it's so silly. If one of the biggest mysteries in this entire series hinges on an accidental death, what will that mean for the storytelling in this show? And it's not as if it would really change anything either. Every indication is still that Rose intended to kill Pink Diamond if she could, if she was able to make that opportunity for herself. So if her efforts ended with Pink Diamond accidentally killing herself in the same way that Rose intended to kill her, what is the difference, really? So because it's so nonsensical to end this storyline on an accidental death, and because the result would be the same anyway, I just don't see it happening. The second is one that works best under the premise that Pink Diamond had to clear a way for Rose. It's that by the time Rose attacked Pink Diamond with the intent of killing her, Pink Diamond was just done. She had failed so many times and let herself down and the other diamonds down so many times that she was basically willing to commit suicide by Rose. That she was ready to let Rose kill her as what she saw as ample punishment for what she had failed to do. And again, this one is not entirely impossible because we don't know how Pink Diamond grew and changed during the war. And we don't really know anything about Pink Diamond in general to begin with, except for the one scene in which we've seen her already. But I find this one pretty unlikely because look at that scene. Look at her character in that scene. She was young, brash, proud, and eager. Her involvement in the war only lasted something like 500 years. Yes, we know that she was frustrated by Rose's rebellion enough to call the other diamonds in to help her, or at least 2 of the other diamonds. But considering how short a period of time 500 years is for a gem, do you honestly think she would get so fed up in such a short amount of time that she would lose all of her pride and eagerness and resign herself to death? And even if she did, we have to ask ourselves the same thing that we asked in the first scenario. What does this change? What does this add to the story? What's its purpose for being here? And the answer is still, as far as I can see, nothing. Rose still would have gone there with the intention of killing Pink Diamond. We know that because her allies know that she intended to kill Pink Diamond. So even if she went there and Pink Diamond made it super easy for Rose to kill her because she was depressed or disappointed in her own performance or whatever, that still doesn't change what Rose did. That still doesn't change what Rose intended to do. The third scenario is the one that I hear talked about the most often, and that's that Rose had actually inspired something in Pink Diamond, changed something in her, and that Pink Diamond had actually chosen to turn against Homeworld and therefore let Rose destroy her so that Homeworld would be weakened and Rose would have a better chance of winning the war. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of you guys really like this theory, and I mean absolutely no offense, but this is ridiculous. This idea is ridiculous. The diamonds have more individual power than quartz gems, and we already know that a quartz gem who decided to rebel was able to do so rather successfully. So if a diamond decided that that quartz gem was right, why couldn't she actually turn against Homeworld as well? Why couldn't she join Rose's army? and fight back against Homeworld. There is no reason for us to assume that she couldn't. So if she really did decide to side with Rose, killing herself rather than joining Rose and bringing a large portion of her army with her is the least productive thing that she could do to help Rose, especially when she would know the diamonds better than anyone else and know to what extremes they would go to get revenge for her death. It's just so ludicrous to me that Pink Diamond would let herself die to help Rose because it's so antithetical to actually helping Rose. Finally, though, we have the fourth scenario, one that I actually think is kind of possible. This one fits best with the premise that Rose's attack was enough to draw Pink's entourage away and make a path for Rose all on its own, and suggests that once Pink realized what Rose's intentions were, it kind of flashed through her mind how successful Rose had been, how much she had failed herself, and then on top of that, Rose proved to be a genuine threat to her physically, and she realized she might die anyway. And so to sort of redeem herself for all of her failures, she somehow killed herself or allowed Rose to kill her more easily to become a martyr in the eyes of the other diamonds and all of their gems. Because she knew the diamonds well enough to know how batshit crazy they would go when they found out she had died. How hard they would rededicate themselves to winning this war, or at the very least, getting revenge for her death. Revenge which would likely include the destruction of her enemy. She allowed herself to die so that those things would happen, because she couldn't win the war herself, and she was worried that even the other diamonds wouldn't be able to win the war without that extra push. Maybe she even realized that they weren't going to be able to defeat the Crystal Gems without White Diamond's presence, and she reasoned that her death was the only way to bring White Diamond to Earth. I want to point out, I still don't think this is possible, because I still don't see what this changes or adds to the story. But this is the one that I feel can most easily be worked into the story as it exists now, and which can be most effectively used in the future as a jumping off point for things that still fit within the story as it's being told now. And therefore I feel that this one is the most likely. I still don't believe it, but I think it's by far the most likely. And there you go. Those are the 4 most interesting versions of this theory that I've seen floating around, and my take on them. Considering the promotional material we've been getting recently, it seems like we're going to find out what happened very, very soon. So one way or another, this question is going to be answered. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what that answer actually is. As per usual though, guys, I'd like to know, what did you think of any of these ideas? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord. Link in the description. Either way though, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.